Hello fellow fish lovers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a bit of a questions and answers session because I've had a few people tell me to do it again, and why not? Firstly though, I want to tell you I bought a new fish tank. So I've bought a new 5 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot fish tank. That's for the living room. And I know on a previous video I said that I'd probably end up selling Boris, but the family and my fish friends have intervened, so they've stopped me from selling Boris and convinced me to sell Bosco the flower horn instead. Now I'll be dead honest with you, I didn't want to get rid of Bosco the flower horn because that plan I talked about, Bosco was part of that plan. But if I'm honest, Boris is more of a wet pet and the grandkids love him. Even the missus said to me, don't get rid of Boris, and she's not bothered about my fish. So I was out of order. So then I went to some guys I know in the fish world, the gazumped fish keepers, if you're watching, and they agreed that the flower horn should go instead of Boris. So yeah, he's going. But we're not here for that today. We're going to do a questions and answers video. Now, if you're not following me on my Instagram account, come over guys, it's @BigFishLad, and what I do on there is I send questions out to my followers and get the questions for YouTube. I've done it once before, but it was a while ago, it's probably about 4 months ago, so I've decided to do it again. So I've got 10 new questions, okay? I got a few questions, but some of them were the same as what I had last time, and I tried to mix it up a bit, so we'll see. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, question 1 is, why did I choose the name Big Fish Lad? So I guess for me, you know, obviously people don't know why you choose your names for stuff like usernames for stuff like that, but basically I am a big lad, so I'm not far off 20 stone, so I'm a big guy, and I've always been a big guy, and my family and my friends call me Big Lad. I've always been called Big Lad. It's just a nickname that I've had. And one day I was in the fish room, my son came in and said, "Hiya Big Lad," and my granddaughter then said, he's not big lad, he's Big Fish Lad," and that's where it came from. So what my granddaughter says goes. So she's named a lot of my fish, and she's actually named my channel for YouTube and Instagram as well, inadvertently. But yeah, Big Fish Lad is from my granddaughter on the back of this Big Lad. Okay, so question 2. Why is your substrate so clean? Now, when I saw this question, I was like, what? But actually, what? It's a good question because I've used lots of substrates and they get mucky, but I found a substrate for me that it does always look clean. I'll be dead honest with you, it always looks clean, and it's Unipack Silica Sand. Basically, it's just a bit of a thicker grain, so it sits. So if any crap or anything like that will just sit on the top, and I always have, I'd say, more filtration in my tanks than I should. So a bigger flow would then travel it around the tank and into the filters. So I've used the Unipack Silver Sand before, and the shit gets in it and it gets underneath, and with this sand it doesn't, and then obviously it goes up the filters. So it looks clean because of the sand I'm using, and that's Unipack Silica Sand, and it's fantastic guys, I would recommend it. Number 3, what's the biggest fish I have ever kept? Okay, so the biggest fish I've ever kept was an arowana, and it was about 20 inches. So it was back in the time when I only had one tank, and it was a 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot tank, probably around about 6 years ago now. No, in fact even longer, probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And it never jumped, it was perfect, didn't have drop eye, it was unbelievable fish. And I moved house, and when I moved house, the house I was going to, there was only room for one tank, and there was only room for a 4 foot tank, and I had to get rid of it. And a guy actually travelled up from London, and for those of you that don't know where that is, if you're in a different country, it's probably a 4.5 hour drive here and a 4.5 hour drive back. And when he turned up, he had all the right equipment, the boxes and everything. It was all done properly. But yeah, 20 inch arowana is the biggest fish I've ever kept. Question 4, what do I think are the best eaters? So for me, I think the Fluval E series, so depending on the size of the tank would dictate the wattage, but I think those Fluval E series eaters are fantastic. I don't think you can fault them. That's just my opinion. I don't think you can fault them. So for me, they're the best eaters on the market. I don't have them in all my tanks. I only have them in 2 of my tanks actually. I've got 6 tanks, but I use, obviously with the dual tanks, I've just used the eaters that are in them. So, but yeah, I would say if I had to pick one, it would be the Fluval E series. Question 5: are you going to breed again? So yeah, I am actually. So with this new setup that I've got, 6 tanks, and I've already got a pair of Cuban cichlids. And the reason I wanted to get rid of one of my hybrids was because I want to put another pair in a tank, and so that would depend. I would take a pair of Dovi, and I know I've said on previous videos I wouldn't have one, but now I'm ready for one because I know my forward plan, and from a house point of view, when we move, I know that I can keep those Dovi now. So a pair of Dovi, a pair of Feste, a pair of Trimax, or even a pair of ATNs. So 4 different kinds of fish I would take right now as pairs. I think I prefer the Dovi now because I think the time is right for me to keep one, to keep a pair. I'd have to take a pair in at about 10 inches because it's a 5x2x2, and I'd probably get the rest of my living in this house time until I get to a new house and have a new tank built in a fish room. Yeah, so question 6. This is a tough question. What's my favourite YouTube channel? So this, I watch loads of fish stuff on YouTube. I'm obsessed with YouTube. I don't even watch normal telly hardly. I watch YouTube in bed at night. I watch it. I love the fish channels. And even to mention them, you know, I love you if I'm subscribed to you basically. But you know, you've got to fly the flag for the UK guys, obviously, because I'm from the UK, you know, and you know, Graham at Aquarium Adventures, love his videos, brilliant. Love his honesty, he's a great guy, and he gave me the opportunity to collab with him, which I'll always be thankful for. But I was watching his videos long before that. Mixed Fish, he's becoming a big channel. It's got over 1,000 members now. You know, Chris the Fish 03, you know, I've got talking to Chris, I've become quite friendly with Chris, and you know, his videos, not necessarily what I do, but I watch them. He's always doing projects, that kind of thing, and there's many more in the UK. I can't think of, well, I'm on the spot right now. In the you know, USA, in the US states, I love Michael's Fish Room. He's like an American version of Graham at Aquarium Adventures. I love IFG because I think that IFG can carry 60,000 subscribers and keep it real and still just do it every day. You see IFG's Fish Room every day, and he never gets boring. There's the big guys in there, you know, Predatory Fins, love them. I love King of Queen cichlids, so I would say, get to the point, Andy Wood's cichlids is my favourite, with a very close King of Queen cichlids, and that's only because I've been watching Andy Moore. You know, both guys are great guys, and I talked to both of them. I've talked to Andy and I've talked to Scott, and you know what, I love their channels. They inspired me to keep the fish I've kept, which I've bored you before with. But yeah, I would pick Andy Woods followed by King Queen cichlids. And again, there's so many I've not mentioned. Okay, so this one came through with sponge filters, yes or no. So I guess it means the little sponges that you put in with the, you know, in the breeding tanks, that kind of thing. If you can see, if you look behind me on the tank, you can see one there. That's one of them. So yeah, I do use them. So I only use them in my smaller tanks, but I tell you what I do as well is I'll always run a big external tank, and I'll always use one of them. I like to keep filtered cycled media in my tank, so they come in handy for that. So you know, I've got 2 in the tank that's over here. I'll have 2 in the tank that comes on Thursday. I've got 1 in the tank over here. So I do run them. They're good little polishers, and I do run smaller tanks just on them as well. Great for breeding tanks. So yeah, it's a definite yes from me. Question 8: what type of fish is Boris? Now, I got asked this question a couple of times, to be honest with you, and I have done videos on what Boris is. So Boris is my red sin. So the red sin is not an official name for him, but he gets called a red sin. And basically what he's made of is a Vihea Sinspilum crossed with a super red Texas. That's what he is. And so basically a red sin is just an easier name for him. It's not official, so he is a Vihea Sinspilum crossed super red Texas. That's what Boris is. And Boris is staying, obviously. Next question, question 9. What temps do I have my tank at? Now that depends on what tank we're talking about. So obviously, you know, with the Floweron, I have it at 80. I have Boris 80 as well. I tend to have my hybrids at that level. I've got my Cuban cichlids and my Red Devil around about I'm saying 80, but I need to switch it down because it's the Celsius that people. I always use Fahrenheit. So I have the Cubans and the Red Devil and the cichlids behind me at 25, or I think it's 25, but it's 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I have my Be Nice cichlid, which supposedly like cooler water, at I think it's about 70, 75, 76. So it depends, like I say, it depends. They're all different. And if you do the research, guys, Google tells you those things. You know, there are a lot of sites on there that have it correct and stuff, and you can even look on YouTube. But yeah, different for different types of fish, obviously. And the last question is, what's my favourite species of fish? And I'm stalling because I love two species more than I love other species, and that's the Parachromis and the Amphilophus. So I would, if you'd have asked me probably 6-7 months ago, I probably would have said the Parachromis, but I'm really starting to fall in love with the Amphilophus as well now. So, you know, I think that's why I would like a pair of Dovi as well, because I'd then have my Jag, I'd have the Dovi, I've got the Amphilophus labiatus, which is the Red Devil, and I've got the Amphilophus citrinalis, which is the Midas. So yeah, it's them two, but right now I can't pick one, guys. Parachromis and Amphilophus. I'll make sure that I always keep those species of fish. Love them both for different reasons, to be honest with you. Yeah, and that's all of it, guys. That's all the questions. So today is Monday, and this video goes out the Friday coming. I've got my new fish tank being delivered the Thursday that's coming, so I'll do a video next week on the new fish tank. Like I say, I am looking for a pair of fish to go in there, so I may not necessarily have fish in there. Well, I will have fish. I'll put some fish like that. I'll probably put the convicts in there to keep it cycling and keep it going, and all the Floweron until I do sell the Floweron. But yeah, I'll do a video on that to show you the new tank. And what I'll do then is I'll do a bit of a walk around as to now how it's looking, because I've got all my dual tanks in this room now, and it's coming along nicely, guys. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for following, and please subscribe if you like my videos. It does help me, and I'll see you on the next video.